cycle. This is a virtuous cycle. You start with empathize, then you simulate, you care, and you collaborate so that you are persistent in your practice as a talent development practitioner. So let's get into this cycle because this will answer this question. In what ways can talent development practitioners become creative with technology? Let's start with the first cycle. Okay. As you will notice also, this is just an overview slide. As talent development practitioners, we don't just touch into employee capacity and employee capability anymore. Part of our job is to establish the systems for task support, for performance specifications, for meaningful rewards that are non-monetary, and for the cycle, the almost immediate feedback that we need to ensure in our respective organizations. So how can the cycle of empathize, simulate, care, and collaborate possibly happen in your organization? So these are just brush strokes of key practices that happened in the past 9 months of some of the organizations that we have helped so far, from the big conglomerates in Metro Manila to a number of organizations outside of Metro Manila. So first off, empathizing means knowing how are people learning nowadays. How are our employees and our learners absorb knowledge and ensure that they are practiced in their respective field. And you can see here the huge leap from traditional training to continuous learning. And if my memory serves me well, I have shown you this slide last year also. So try to pick out from this slide what's your current state? How are your people learning nowadays? No, you can choose from any of these, and for sure, the most important thing to realize is that as much as people are trying to skill themselves right now, they don't have some level of path, okay, for them to ensure that there is a proper credentialing for their skilling up. So that is a very important process, empathizing, knowing how our learners are learning nowadays. Next is to simulate, and simulating means refocusing learning design, okay? And what is important now is to shift from the traditional training needs assessment to starting with a targeted skill. What exactly is the skill that you need to focus on? Determine the cruciality, how crucial is this to your organization? And then determine what is the ideal landing page or the landing proficiency level of each of your career people, career levels in the organization. And then look for evidence. How would you know if these people are achieving the proficiency level that they should be in? Then that's the time you put together a pathway. You do curation. There has been a lot of discussions about curation. Then you find the right content, and then that's the time you set out the proper measures as we go along. Especially that there are a lot of changes even in the way we measure skills nowadays. Okay, so what's most important there is you find the evidence of the skill. That is the most crucial part in the way we do design nowadays. Okay. Now, when it comes to caring for our employees, especially our learners, require us to set the right experience for them. And it's like setting up a production, right? In fact, as talent development practitioners, our role has changed into floor directors and production people nowadays. And key elements there to create a good learning experience is, of course, you set the stage, you set up the props, you manage the actors, you create the story, and create the proper ending to this. Okay, what does this analogy say? No, the stage is your platform. You have to choose the best technology platform that can put together all experiences, even if the kind of learning that people are taking are somewhere else. It can be in YouTube, it can be in internal or maybe analog, in fact, just simply reading a book, etc. But that platform has to capture the key learnings of your people. you have to look for a combination of perhaps we have to move to 80% asynchronous work or asynchronous content and 20% synchronous because of our internet issues in the Philippines, right? So 80% asynchronous means you can look for different self-paced types of content that your people can do, and that includes TikTok, by the way. For actors, get to know more about your users. What usually would be the best time and the best day for them to learn, and at the same time, what are their learning styles. And also in terms of once you get to know your actors, create the pathway, create the proper way of mobilizing learning against the specific skill that you are targeting, and then create the key mastery. Ensure that the mastery is reached through key measures as you go along.